Another day of Broncos training camp is in the books, and we're here to break it down. Joined today by 9 News' Mike Klis. Mike, we've had several guests over the last few days. Save the best for last. What's going on? Thanks for joining us.
Hey, nice to talk to you, Aric, in a formal setting versus all the rap sessions we have on the sidelines watching this team.
Exactly, that's right. Mike, 6 consecutive days of practice. They wrapped it up with a scrimmage type deal today, some special teams, some situational work, but it finished with a move the ball type drill, down 6, less than a minute to go. I believe they started at the plus 44-yard line.
Right.
And in all 3 situations, Jarrett Stidham got the go with the 1s there, Bo with the 2s, Zach with the 3s. We saw the defense step up big in all 3 scenarios. What do you think defensively of how they handled that situation?
Yeah, they tightened up when they had to. I mean, that's the whole deal. When you're up 6, your defense is different than when you're up 3. And they had a little bend on a couple times. Stidham on a 4th and 18 had a real nice deep end pass completion to Marvin Mims. And that got him a new set of downs and looked like they might do something from there. But it fizzled against the defense. And then Zach Wilson also had a nice big, long completion down a seam, so to speak, to Troy Franklin, probably the biggest catch of the rookie so far in training camp. But again, it sputtered at the 13-yard line, so the defense did well. I thought the defense all day brought pressure. And there were other team periods too. And, Bo Nix was throwing a lot from a retreat position. Stidham was scrambling quite a bit. Wilson was scrambling. They're all throwing off the run. So I thought the defense, the pressure at Vance Joseph, it looks like they're going to be more aggressive this year, and that'll work in the red zone.
Yeah, absolutely. We heard Sean Payton say after practice that there were times the refs kind of let the play keep going, even though there would have been a sack here or there, and certainly there were some of those moments. One of the other big messages of today was the toughness that this team is trying to build during training camp. You've had these long practices, they're conditioning at the end. Sean Payton brings it up again and again, the mental toughness, the physical toughness. We heard Adam Troutman say, you talk to guys around the league, and this is one of the hardest training camps that there is. Sean's got that kind of old school approach.
He does.
What do you see when you watch training camp from that standpoint, and how valuable do you think that is going into the year?
Yeah, I think it's the callus effect, as they call it. Fangio had a little of that, especially his first year. The second year with COVID, nothing. That was unfortunate. No one got to implement their plan. But Fangio was in pads a lot, and Sean Payton has been in pads more than Fangio was his last year. And the 6 days in a row is interesting. I remember more days off breaking it up.
You need more days off here.
Yeah,
and there, huh?
I do. It's like, man, I can't cut the grass. I think he conditions them football-wise. He puts the pads on probably more than most coaches. I know he puts the pads on more than Mike Shanahan, who's, he goes back 20 years. He puts the pads on more than Mike Shanahan does. Different philosophies. Shanahan came from the Bill Walsh school of conditioning, keep those legs fresh more. And Peyton comes from old gruff Bill Parcells, or beat him up and made the best survive. All we know is there are a lot of injuries in 2022 under Hackett where they took it real light, and then and not as near as many injuries then. I think there is something to be said about the toughness. It's one reason why I think, Aric, they're going to be better than people expect, because I think it's going to be a tough team. And it's going to be a team that's in it for the team and not themselves. That I think it's all for one for all type of attitude they've built here. And the strength of this team, at least the way they've built it, is going to be the defensive line and offensive line. That's Sean Payton, Bill Parcells football. And so, if the quarterback plays pretty well, they got a chance to surprise people.
Yeah, and we keep hearing this young and hungry can be dangerous.
Yeah.
Obviously a young team in a lot of spots. We'll see kind of how that plays out. Mike, putting you on the spot here for one more. You think about all training camp so far, about a week and a half in, who's one guy maybe outside of, I know obviously Bo Nix has impressed a lot of people, but outside of him, who's one guy that's really impressed you or stood out to you so far during training camp?
Well, On offense, I would say Josh Reynolds has really, I thought he was a number 3, 4 receiver. That's what he's been his whole career. He's been impressive. Estime is impressing me, the rookie running back. He looks real good. Troy Franklin, it takes rookie receivers. I don't know what it is about the receiver position for rookies, but it takes him a minute. Marvin Mims, I thought was going to light it up last year. He had 22 catches. It just takes him a while. And so I'm not overly expecting too much from Troy Franklin, but he could mix in a deep ball or two. And then on defense, I've heard a lot of good things about DJ Jones in the middle. And what's interesting there, first of all, he's got a real good defensive ends around him. Zach Allen was unblockable till it looks like he got nicked up a little bit, spent out the last 2 practices. John Franklin Myers missed 3. But when they were all together for one practice, that front 3 just absolutely destroyed the Broncos offense the first day in pads on Monday. So DJ Jones has really looked good in the middle of that defensive line.
Well, Mike, it'll be exciting to see what's next. We are just days away now from the first preseason game. It'll be exciting to see who starts at quarterback, how that plays out there ahead of Indianapolis. But appreciate you joining us.
Sure.
That's been the latest from Broncos training camp. For 9 News' Mike Klis, I'm Aric DiLalla.